Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this epic podcast. This is a place where you are encouraged and you have absolute freaking permission to unapologetically go after all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your things on your vision board, like everything that your heart desires. I'm your host, Angharad, the High Vibe Babe, and I believe that we're all in this life to expand and experience our wildest dreams. If one of us can have it, then we all can. So that is the aim of this podcast. Each week I'll either be going solo or have guests with the aim to inspire, uplift you and give you the tools for you to live your most epic AF life and business possible. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @HighVibeBabe. Now let's get into today's episode. Hey, High Vibe Babes, Angharad here. I'm freaking excited to be bringing Genevive onto the podcast today, and here is her official bio, and then I'm going to get her to introduce herself in her non-official way and start this epic conversation. Okay, so Genevive brings her flair of play, ease, and a dash of sexy to getting rich and running solo-line businesses. Genevive mentors people all over the world who run multiple six, and seven-figure empires. She believes more is always available to you. Life gets to be good and the universe wants you to be rich. Her jam is money, growing your biz, and alignment. Get ready to be elevated by being in her vibe. Welcome, Genevive.
Yay! Whenever the sexy part, like, and a dash of sexy, I'm like, I should really update that. It's more than a dash.
It's like all sexy. We were literally just talking about how we both don't have pants on for this podcast interview. So here we go.
Dance with no pants on, holler.
Oh my gosh, I love it already. Would you mind just telling us a bit about yourself and your journey and, you know, how you really got here? I would love to know. Totally.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, it really is different depending on the day and what I feel like sharing, because I mean, whatever feels relevant, right? Yeah, I got here because I wanted to be here. You know what I mean? Like, I got here because I wanted to be here, and life led me to want to be here. Life led me to want to be here. And so I got here because I chose to be here. But yeah, like the work I do is very like centered around soul alignment, centered around wealth embodiment, because when we're in the energy of that which we desire, we create it and we call it in, right? So I got here because I started with a very contrasting relationship with money, right? And in that experience of starting there and having that be my initial vantage point of life, it created a lot of desire, right? It created the desire to have ease with money. It created the desire to have a really healthy relationship with money, because my initial experience with it was the opposite. I had a really fucked up relationship with money. Money felt hard, felt inconsistent, it felt scary. Felt like there was never enough, right? And those were kind of like the patterns and woundings I picked up from my childhood, from my mom, from my parents, from society. And I got to this point where I was like, fuck this sucks. Like, I don't want this relationship with money. I don't want this life. Like, and I just knew there was more, right? And so I just kind of just kept taking steps towards that and just ended up here.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And I think money is something that we often believe, right? Like that because we grew up in a certain way, or that we've experienced a certain way, or with partners that believe a certain thing, right? That we just can't get out of it, or that we, you know, we're in the same circles and stuff that we always have been. So what really transformed you in those stages where even, you know, like, so for me and my clients, right, we're beginning to hit six figures, right? So we're already outside of the norm. We're already like stepped outside, but to continue to grow and scale, like, how did you do that? Like, what were the next level things that continued to happen?
You know, this is such a powerful question and conversation, but it's like desire, period, point blank. Like desire, like wanting it, right? Because I remember hitting six figures and being like, cool. And then being like, more, please. Like, more, please. Multiple six, and then more, please, right? Because there comes a point, and I think like a lot of people start here in business, they allow themselves to get to a certain point because they kind of justify it a little bit, right? I need to make this much. Like six figures, that's not too much to ask, right? But it's like the more and more money I make and the more I grow my business, and just honestly, like I'm growing my business so fucking fast and like so powerfully because I'm just like, I've embraced shamelessly wanting shit, right? And really unpacking any energy of like feeling guilty, feeling greedy, feeling like a bad person, or feeling like uncomfortable taking up so much space, or like allowing in so much ease in the presence of others, and just really getting the fuck over myself. And allowing it to just be really fucking good, right? Because it's like what I'm seeing as I'm actually doing it at a higher and higher and higher level and at a faster and faster speed, I'm seeing the ripple effect it's having. And I'm seeing the ripple effect it's having on my clients, in my containers, in my like, non-online world, right? With my relationship, with, my family. Just the ripple effect is everything. And like, that's what I'm fucking living for. Like, but we have to let ourselves admit that we want shit, and we have to let ourselves admit that we want more, because we're going to get to a point where it's like we can't justify receiving more because we quote unquote need it, right? Like, oh, I really need a nice car, like I really need a Lamborghini, like whatever the fuck. It's like, no, you fucking don't. And like, we get to a certain point in income. I think this, like, I see this start happening for entrepreneurs around like 250K a year or more. Like that justification factor, like if they've been operating from that in any way, shape, or form, it starts to be noticeable, right? Because they start plateauing, it starts feeling like hard, and things just need a shake up and a shift, right? And so like shamelessly embracing that desire for more, for overflow, for wealth, for a lot of fucking money in the bank, for just bold, sexy, unapologetic impact. Like that's really what we got to play with, right? And like scaling and scaling and scaling, to me, is just doing that again and again and again, and at a higher level and a higher level and a higher level and a higher level.
I love that. And I have seen that many times in my life. It's like, and I, you speak to mentors and they're like, it's the same thing repeated. It's always the same bullshit belief that comes up that you don't deserve it, right? Or that it's too intense, or that other people aren't going to understand it. But it's just over and over again, you breaking that same, the new, like the new layer to that same thing that's going on underneath, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think for some things, for sure, like there are levels to it, where it's like, oh, this worthiness thing is being tested at the deepest level it's ever been tested at, like so far. But ultimately, I feel like what I've realized in my business, and especially this year, is like, I don't have to play in the same patterns. You know what I mean? And what I've seen is like, as I've just been like, no, these things, no, I no longer fuck with the am I worthy conversation, because I'm just always worthy. And that's just a standard that I've like, it's no longer something I negotiate with myself, right? In terms of like what I get to have and how my relationships are and how my money is and how easy and how quickly it comes in, how easily and how quickly I attracted my people and my clients, et cetera. Like just the worthiness conversation is no longer negotiable. You know what I mean? And so from there, I've really seen how I'm like, oh, like this has just been kind of like my brain's way and like my ego's way, like a ploy of just playing fucking smaller, right? Because it's like when we're not distracted with are we worthy or not, and when we're not distracted with is it possible or not, we're asking different questions, right? And we're letting in a fuck ton more, right? Because we're not distracted by these conversations. We're playing at a different vantage point, and we're willing to ask for more and to step into more and to be more, have more, allow more, impact more. Right. And, most people's ego, it's like, well, it's kind of scary. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's the willingness to like kind of clean up these conversations that really allows us to see like from the roof. You know what I mean? To like see, like stand on top of the house and look down and just have this different vantage point where it's like, I see. I didn't have to keep myself on the ground busy with these other little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, and then I circle back to like remembering the conversations with family and stuff. And I've certainly witnessed this in my life, right? Where some family members support and then for a while, then they won't, and then they just completely don't. So how has your relationship with your family evolved, and what's been like the biggest key to that still being successful? Is it like literally you just being unapologetic and being like, this is me, and just not taking anything else, like not accepting other standard? Like, what has it been for you?
So I feel like what's really just set me free in my relationships has just been to love people, like just love them, right? And like I think in the past when I was younger, when I had less like emotional intelligence, it was like love them if they behave a certain way, love them if this, if that, if that, if that. But it's like, to me, it's just like the non-negotiable has become like just love them either way, right? Just love them either way. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I am interacting with them in the same way, but it means I love them either way. And what I found is like that love is shifting. It moves things. It changes the relationships. it positively impacts the exchanges. And it also yields the clarity to see what the relationship needs on my end in order to serve the relationship and myself from the highest lens and like for the highest good. You know what I mean? And so then then the relationship changes form to whatever it needs to be at the time, right? And it doesn't mean that every single relationship has just been like, oh, it's instantly just perfect and exactly the way I think it should be, right? I think sometimes people have this like secret judgment of like, I'm growing a successful business and I also kind of have a weird fucked up relationship with my mom. Is that bad? You know what I mean? Like, but it's like when we're just releasing the judgment and just loving, like the relationships just take form, like, and they just be exactly what they need to be. You know what I mean? And I feel like these things don't always have to fit these models or these ideas of what we think they should be to be acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do really agree and resonate with that as well. And the love is always going to break down the barriers, right? And what will be. And the reality is when we're looking at it from the perspective of love, even if there is difficult things going on, it doesn't mean the same thing, as our former selves would view it, because we're not viewing it through like our ego or through our hurt or through what we want it to be. It's just like, okay, they're creating their experience, they're having the experience, and it's okay. And I love you for that.
Yeah. Like nothing, like it doesn't have to be a reason to withhold love. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's a reason to continue to engage in the same way, but the love still gets to be there. And what I found is like, that's just the most powerful shifting experience with our family.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay. So your business, I love asking people's questions about like their business structure and stuff. So people who don't know you, what are the things that you offer? Like, so I know you have a mastermind, right? And you do one-on-one clients and stuff. How else has your business formed? And also, was it always like that, or has it transitioned over time?
So I do courses, I do master classes, both paid and free. I work with clients one-to-one, and I also have a high-level mastermind. And, it hasn't always been like this, but what I found is I just pay attention to what I want to do and I just do it. You know what I mean? Like, gosh, like last year I was like, ooh, I'm really vibing the courses. And so I was doing a lot more programs and teaching like that. But this year, like, I'm still doing courses and programs and I still deeply, deeply love them. But what I found is like, I've really this year begun to prioritize my one-to-one coaching and my high-level mastermind, specifically my high-level mastermind, because I just fucking love it. I just fucking love it. And like what my business model, my business plan, what it has always been and will always be is what I want, right? What do I want? Like, what do I want right now? Where is life taking me? Where's my curiosity pulling me? Where's my desire leading me? And I follow that completely. And then my business model just shifts however it needs to be in alignment with that energy. But like what happens every single time, like if tomorrow it was like, you're no longer feeling this mastermind, I would dissolve it. You know what I mean? But it's just like, I'm only going to do like what I'm completely madly in love with and obsessed with in my business. And that's just the internal voice and feeling I've always followed in order to create my business model. And then from there, it's shifted however it's needed to shift it. And now today it just is what it currently is. And who knows what it'll look like next year.
Yeah, I love that. Also, do you know what your human design is?
I'm a generator.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I figured there was a generator vibe there. Cool. Just
what are you?
Which is really cool. And I recently had Amanda Francis on this podcast as well. And I think you have or do work with Amanda Francis, right?
Yeah, I've worked with her in the past.
Oh, cool. Sweet. Do you want to speak a little bit about how that went for you as well, working with her?
I just absolutely adore Amanda. I love her unapologetic energy, vibe, nature, and she is one of the first people I've seen / saw in the online space who was just breaking all the rules and was just doing it however the fuck she wanted to do that. And I loved that vibe.
Yeah, I see that similarity with both of you, like that you both are just unapologetic and doing it exactly how the fuck that you wanted to do it. Like and that's like the thing, that's a vibe that a lot of us really look to, right? Is because it's so incredible and amazing, and there's a part of us that's like, oh my god, we're so like that. There's also a part of us, the 2 foot in the door, like one's in and one's out, another one's like, well, I'm still grounded in reality of this is not normal people. And the people around us are not normal. That was something that I wanted to, I guess, ask you a little bit around was how your relationships like transitioned in your life, just in general, not necessarily just with family but with other people as well. Because the thing I've seen with both myself and my clients is that that we are met with resistance from some people around us, which of course is natural.
You know, to be honest, I feel like my freedom has been my highest priority, right? Where it's like I just have this feeling, and I've always had it, where it's like, I won't not go for it. And I won't keep myself small for any reason under any and all conditions. And that doesn't mean it hasn't always been the easiest thing, or that it has always been the easiest thing, but everyone's supportive, and like everyone's supportive because they want to be, and because I love them either way. I feel like because I love them either way, and I'm going to do it either way. It's kind of like the vibe I feel. And what I've noticed and what I've paid attention to is not the resistance I receive or have received from my relationships or people in my life, but what I tend to pay extra attention to is the positive impact my growth has on the people in my life, the ripple effect, right? Because it's like, sure, I can notice how it triggered so-and-so that I make a lot more money, right? But it's like, I'm also going to pay attention to how that's actually calling them to play a bigger game with themselves, and how they can't hide from that feeling when they're with me. And I think that's a damn good thing.
Oh yeah, I love that. And yes, I totally 100% agree. The standards we set for ourselves, the role that we're playing in our lives has a massive ripple effect. And sometimes it presents in all different ways all the freaking time for other people, because it's their journey. Yeah, I love that so much. So heading into 2021, what is the vibe? What are the next level desires that you're stepping into?
Oh, next year's my first $1 million year, probably $2 million. And I'm going to buy more property. Yeah, I actually do want to sit down and get more clear on that, but I've been playing with it, but for sure next year is my first 7-figure year.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And whereabouts are you based as well? In America, right? Whereabouts?
Yes, I'm on the East Coast in North Carolina.
Oh my gosh, cool. And did you grow up around there?
No, I grew up in the Midwest, from Iowa, originally, smack dab in the middle of the US.
Oh, wow, cool. And what brought you to where you are now? Have you moved around a bit?
I've lived a few places, but this has been the longest other than where I grew up. And honestly, it just, I don't know, it brought me here. Have you ever had that experience? This is something that some conversations I have with some friends, like we're like, places have energies, right? And places will call you in and they'll also kick you out. And I'm like, this place just totally pulled me in. I actually moved here without ever being here before. And I was just like, knew I needed to be in the mountains. I knew this was my fresh start, and just life brought me here. Like my sister was like, oh, I'm moving here. And I was like, fuck it, I'll move. And I just packed up and whatever I could fit in my car with my boyfriend at the time and my dog. And this was like right after I started my business and made my first $2,500. And then I moved here and then just grew my business here.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing and epic and beautiful. And I totally agree. Places do call you, but they also kick you out. I've experienced it so many times in my life.
Yeah, when we're done with you, like everything is like telling you to leave the fucking town.
Leave the small town.
Yeah, you know, and it's funny, I've been thinking about that because it's like, I was actually wondering I should Google this, but I wonder what this, like where I live, Asheville, North Carolina, like what is in the ground, right? Because like there are certain places in the country, like the ground underneath you is like a certain type of stone or whatever. And I'm like, I wonder what's below my feet right now.
Freaking labeled with gold or something. Something amazing and beautiful.
Definitely gold.
Yeah, there's definitely some gold. I totally resonate with it as well, because myself, I've always needed to come to America and stand on the land, and I have no fucking idea why, and I haven't been able to get there yet. 2020 was meant to be the year, but that's fine. It's obviously planned for a different year. And because I've done a lot of traveling in my life, and land 100% calls. Like it's like in your dreams, and you just can't stop thinking about it. It's kind of like, just, I don't even know. It's just like it sings and it calls you. It's just amazing.
Isn't that interesting? Where it's like, I feel like everything just is in on it. You know what I mean? Like God, the earth, that city, that town, like the people, like their souls, like they're all in on it, where it's like, we need her here for whatever reason. And then when you're done, it's just like, all right, now leave.
Go to the next place and spread the fairy dust.
Interesting, because it's like, you don't know, like some places it's like, they'll call you in and kick you out. Other places it's like, you can stay here. Like, this is where you live.
Mm. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, so for anyone who is stepping over like the multiple six figure, mark over the 250K US, which is about 400 New Zealand dollars at 400,000 ish, which is, incredible and amazing. Anyone who's like breaking through that mold, what would be like your piece of advice?
It's honestly, it's about power. Like it really is flat out power and desire are the two things, and that's it. Like from there, like everything else is just going to fall into place. So for my, like who I am now and who I was then, like I've grown so much as like a woman, a person, a leader, a coach, right? Like a client. I've always been an amazing client with my coaches, but it was just like, I had to want more, right? Like, and so something I say is like, just because you want more doesn't mean it's going to happen. You have to choose it on purpose. Right. So it was like, you have to be like, I'm ready for more. Right. Because like the $250,000 like US is comfortable. Like it really fucking is. It's like, you're past that 6-figure hump, which to me as a business owner is like, you're paying the bills and you have a little bit left over type of vibe. Depending on your expenses, obviously. $250,000, it's comfortable. It is. And it's like, so the more comfortable you are, the more you have to choose more. And it doesn't mean that it's harder though. It's actually a fuckload simpler and honestly easier making more money than that. But it's like, but still 250 is comfortable. So there has to be that intentional choice of like, I want to make more. I'm ready to make more. Let's rock and roll, get in the energy, get in the vibe of people who make more, and just move your ass. Right. And it's like from that place, like of choice and desire, life is going to call you into your power more deeply, right? Because it's like from 250 to like 500K plus, it's not doing more work, right? It's not doing more. It's not putting in more hours. It's not even exerting more energy. It's just being able to hold more, right? Hold more. And what I found is I actually do a lot fucking less. I do a lot less because I can hold a lot more, right? I can hold a lot more. And that's what power is. It's like, I don't need to, it's just cleaner energy. It's more solid. It's more powerful. It's more magnetic. It's more just available to receive, and it's available to hold and available to have, right? And from there, it's like, you're tapping into higher levels energetically of overflow of actually wealth frequencies, right? Because, the 250K, like it's a comfortable place, but it's like, to me, it feels like a comfortable money energy. But like beyond that is like where you start tickling the wealth frequencies, right? Where it's like, ooh, desire and choice is calling me to play at a higher level. What does me having more actually look like? Like, what is my big vision for myself, my business, and my life? Like, what do I truly, truly want? What do I truly, truly stand for myself, for my family, for my life, for my business? Like, what is that? What do I want? Right? And then it's like, more. It's like, I think I'm ready for more now when you start to answer these questions, right? There's a reason, right? It's not just more for the sake of more of like, or like, oh, chasing money, right? Because when you're chasing money only for the sake of money, you get fucking distracted and it's not a big enough reason to grow. It's not, right? And then you'll see that people are chasing money because they get overly sucked into comparisonitis, right? And like pressure-y energy, right? And these are all energies and symptoms of chasing money, not following vision, right? And when the pressure kicks in, people pull the plug because they're chasing money. It's not a big enough reason, right? And so people hear that and like, it's not a big enough reason, so I must push harder, because that's what I would do if I had a bigger reason. It's like, no, you wouldn't push harder. You would be in a different frequency. You would be an allowing frequency, not a pushing energy, right? And then you see people like comparing themselves as well from that energy and that vibe, because again, not a big enough vision, not a big enough reason to move, to truly, truly move. They haven't like gotten familiar enough with their desires. And it doesn't mean like sit down and be like, oh, I want to live in this kind of house and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, pay attention to your heart. Like, what do you want, right? Creating that continual connection to self and that continual connection to the desires of your heart, right? And from there, it's always going to lead you to what is next. And that always leads you to what is next. And that always leads you to what is next and to what is next and to what is next. And that always leads you to more.
Holy shit, I love this so much. Yes. Yes. You hit so many points that just make so much fucking sense. And I experienced a similar sort of thing, like even going to multiple six figures rather than just like, just six figures. Also because our dollars are different as well, right? So hitting over 400,000 is different, than just hitting 100, you know what I mean? So it feels it feels more, and for us as well. So I totally also really, really understand that, and it is a similar process of repeating and desiring the next level and tapping into the heart, because you're right, if we're just chasing the money, it's not going to be good enough. It's not going to be a good enough reason to get up in the morning and still show up in our best self, and like for that to translate, right? It's just not enough. The desire does fade out because it's just not sustainable enough. It's like not long-term food, basically.
Right. It's like a needy vibe of like, give this to me and then because it's like chasing that, like, what's it called? Dopamine hit, right? Where it's like, ooh, a payment notification. Ooh, a client came in. Or like, ooh, I hit this level, like that dopamine hit where it's like, ooh, I'm chasing that because I want to feel something. I want to feel good. But it's like, to me, that's like a big indicator that you're abandoning your current life. Like you're abandoning what is, you're abandoning your present emotionally, right? You're seeking something, you're in a needy vibe. And it's like, if you got really present here and turned up the sexy vibe here and turned up the fun, yummy vibe here, like to me, like what I always talk about with my clients is like, you don't get to more from lack. Right? You get to more from overflow. You get to more, what I'm always saying is like cup runneth over. You elevate into more, you spill over into more. And so if right here sucks, you don't get to, a happy ending from an unhappy journey, right? It's gotta be like the compatible energy and frequency. That's where the ease is. The ease is in the elevation, not in the push. The ease is in the elevation, not in the needy, gimme vibe because I'm bored or don't feel good enough or feel lack or whatever, right? It's in the elevation. Ease is in the elevation, not the other shit.
God, yes, queen. Love it so freaking much. So I also just wanted to know, as you've scaled your business, how does your your support look for you? Do you have team members on your team helping you out?
So currently I have a bookkeeper and I have an assistant. Do I have anybody else? Oh, and I also have someone who does my graphics, and she designs my sales pages if I do a sales page. But yeah, that's basically it. My assistant, what she does is she checks my email for me. And if anybody needed like customer support or anything like that, she does that. She posts my content for me on Instagram, which I write it and I just send it to her and she makes it look pretty and puts it on Instagram. And then what else does she do? She keeps up with my payments for me. So if anybody needs their card changed or anything like that, she's on top of it. And that's basically it. And then just my other girl, who I call my graphic girl. It's like a superhero name, graphic girl. She does my sales pages and she does my graphics, and she's taken my programs, and she's also just one of my friends. So she totally gets my vibe. So I love her. I'm keeping her forever. Both of them actually. But that's it. That's it. Everything else is just, I don't know. It's just, everything else is just simple. Mm-hmm. Everything is just simple. Like I don't have things set up in my business in a way that's complicated where it's like, I need all these, like I have all these moving parts. Like I don't have that. Like I run my programs in Facebook groups. And if I do a membership area every once in a while for a program, my team will, meaning my assistant, will save the videos and put them where they need to be. That's basically it. And then my clients, we talk in Boxer, and we have our calls on the phone. You know what I mean? Like it's simple.
Yeah, I love that. The streamlined, but not 300,000 team members. Just the people who are 100% meant to be there supporting us for what we need. I love that a lot. That's beautiful.
If I need to expand at any point, or if at any point in time I'm like, I am really just turned on by everything being back end, then I will hire for that. But at this point in time, it's a no from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was absolutely an absolute pleasure to speak to you and to get you to share your wisdom and your love and the way you look at everything. It's just been absolutely beautiful and amazing. And I know everyone listening is going to have loved it. So please do screenshot it and share it on your stories, everyone. Please, please, please tell us what you love the most. Would you mind sharing with everyone how they can come and connect with you further?
Totally. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I'm glad that we could finally connect. I've been wanting to do that. So yay. So I hang out on Instagram and Facebook mostly. So I have a free Facebook group called The Rich Spiritual Money Bitches, where I do live streams and just, we hang out and have a good time in there. And then I also hang out on Instagram at Genevive Verackham. I'm on there on my stories every day. And we have fun over there as well. It's a vibe.
Yay. Oh my gosh, I love it. And the links will be down below for everyone. And yes, okay. I hope you have a lovely evening, babe. And everyone else listening, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye. If you have enjoyed this episode, I would adore if you would screenshot it, chuck it up on your stories with your favorite takeaway moment, and tag me at Hi Bye Babe on Instagram so that more people can see this and get this content and get this message out there to really shape and change and impact other people's lives. Do you desire to be around more high vibe women who really get you, who encourage you, who support you no matter what? Yeah, well, guess what? I have a place that you belong. It is called High Vibe Babes Community. It is a free Facebook group and I would love to have you in there. There are so many free trainings and epicness in this group, so please get your booty in there. It would mean the world if you would subscribe to this podcast, do the reviews, the rating, the stars, all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode. I'm sending you all of the vibes and all of the love. Over and out from Angharad, the High Vibe Babe.